So the Sega 32x had enough raw gaming power to put down a small horse. But you know, the flame that burns the brightest, it's going to be so hot, everyone else is going to leave it the hell alone. Knuckles Chaotix is a particularly brave game that I've got a lot of respect for. Single-handedly, this is the reason to own a 32x. Believe me, there aren't that many alternatives. I'm pretty sure I'm not alone when I dream of a Sonic game for the 32x. Though, to put it into perspective, let's look at what Sonic was up to just a year after Knuckles Chaotix was released. We got 3 Sonic games: Flicky's Island on the Mega Drive, or 3D Blast depending on what region you're from, Sonic R on the Sega Saturn, and in North America, the Sonic Fighters in the arcades. I'm kind of glad that among all that 3D, we actually got a 2D side-scroller straight from the Sonic team. And even though you can either love or hate Knuckles Chaotix, when it's all working, I thought it was really fun. The controversial ring binding feature can propel you from a standstill into a frantic, destructive force, rampaging through the levels, soaking up rings, and destroying all the enemies. I think it makes an impressive display, but they had to sacrifice the quick, pick up and play attitude of the original Sonic titles. Until you manage to get your head around the controls and the unique movements, it's more likely that you'll be fighting with the system than embracing it. Unless, of course, you don't pick Knuckles first. If you want to throw this game into super easy mode, pick the unassuming B. You'll be able to beat the stages super quick, miss out on all that annoying learning to control 2 characters at once stuff, and literally fly your way to the goal. If you're here for a quick fix, Charmy B might be your man. So that's another thing Knuckles Chaotix is famous for, tying lots of different characters from concept art, other spin-off games, and comics all together. When I first started playing Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'm sure Mario fans will understand too, it felt like the game was part of something bigger. The interesting stages, the characters, it felt like this simple platformer could have a whole universe attached to it. And with only Espio actually making his first appearance in Knuckles Chaotix, turns out all these other characters are actually part of that bigger universe. And in this game, they've all been captured by Dr. Robotnik as he takes over Carnival Island. Using the special ring binding, one character can free another one. You start playing with Knuckles, but soon you start switching and swapping, putting together your best duo to kick the Doctor off Carnival Island. So yeah, that's supposed to explain all these stage selection and character selection segments. I suppose it's nearly like playing a game. So where does the 32 bits play into the process? Well, obviously, they made these great looking platforms and stage clear signposts. But if that wasn't enough, I should probably mention, I really like the way they decided to do the special stages. It might have been a little bit disappointing that we didn't get a full 3D Sonic game for the 32x, but I'm really happy that they used the special stages in Knuckles Chaotix to experiment with the concept. The pop-in is bad, but early on, these stages are fun and take me back to Sonic 2. As the stages get more elaborate and harder to navigate, you can see some actual platforming elements start to emerge. This is our only real glimpse at what a 3D Sonic game for the 32x might have looked like, and I think I'm starting to see some family resemblance. If you can make it to the end, you collect a Chaos Ring. Collect all the rings for the best ending. But these stages are brutal and unforgiving, and thanks to the pop-in and the lack of texture mapping and shadows, you find yourself dying cheaply. I do recommend at least getting to the end of the game. Throughout the game, you get some pretty weak efforts from Dr. Robotnik to thwart your progress. But once you do hit the main lobby, after clearing each zone, you need to go toe to toe with Metal Sonic. And then, Godzilla Metal Sonic. I don't want to spoil it too much here, but it is a seriously awesome boss fight. So Knuckles Chaotix was never going to save the 32X. I can see how at the time. You invest in this awesome piece of hardware that is supposed to supercharge your Mega Drive, and you get this unusual, frustrating Sonic spin-off instead of an actual Sonic the Hedgehog title. Thanks to that carnival theme, there's actually less variety here than on the Mega Drive Sonic titles. In retrospect, it is unique, it is unusual, and Sega have kept it pretty close to their chests, with no re-releases or ports outside a brief stint on a PC service that provided games for download. Believe it or not, Knuckles Chaotix does have its flaws. I'm a totally biased Sega Sony loyalist scum, but I can appreciate that for anyone looking for a Sonic alternative on what should be more powerful hardware, Knuckles Chaotix doesn't deliver. If you can give it a little bit of time, know that you're getting into a game with some pretty unusual mechanics. You could actually find a lot to like here. It's a solid platformer, but even then, the stages don't offer much variety. You'll fight the same enemies, and even with the cutscenes, bonus stages and special levels, unless you're whizzing through with Charmy B, you're plodding through 5 reshuffles of the same scenery. Like a lot of the Sonic titles, you can actually get a second person in on the action. Unlike the Sonic games, the ring binding forces you to work together. I'm used to playing on my own, and the CPU does a good job keeping up with me. But if you want to take on the Bruiser challenge, try 2 controllers at once. I find the 32X really interesting, and I did my research. I knew exactly what I was getting into. It wasn't like I was going to have a nasty surprise waking up on Christmas morning and finding Pitfall. Knuckles Chaotix is how I finally justified picking up my 32X.